Let's continue adding users, groups and configuring permissions according to AGUDLP.
Let's go ahead and continue building our organization here, and we'll add the rest of the users in our groups so we can actually go in later and apply some group policy, and we'll look at some different permissions and things. Let's create some new people. Let's see, Paris Hilton will be an enemy agent. And I don't hate Paris Hilton. I actually think she's kind of cute. I like her. I'm just using her as an enemy agent. I don't know why. So don't think I'm a Paris Hilton hater, please. In our research, let's go ahead and we'll add Einstein. We brought him back from the grave just to work for our super secret spy organization. Smart guy, heavy intellect there. He would be a great asset to our quest for world domination. Another guy that was brilliant and often considered a crackpot, but I think just misunderstood as Tesla. And let's bring him in with a simple password. And another guy, Niels Bohr. I'm trying to think of somebody else who, oh, I know. Just because I really liked his series Cosmos and he was real cool. I can't think of what we'll actually do with Carl Sagan, but you just never know. We'll bring him back from the dead. Okay, so here are our top research scientists. Here are our enemy agents, Paris Hilton, Dr. Evil, and Barney Rubble. Our top agents. Now we don't have any top agents. What we want to do is move Austin Powers. He's going to be top agent in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, you have to be careful when you move items because by going in and out of different OUs, different group policy objects will apply to them and permissions will change. And we should get a warning about this when I move them. So I'm going to move them into top agents, and notice I get a warning. Moving objects in Active Directory domain services can prevent your existing system from working the way it was designed. And it's just letting you know, hey, you're going to change permissions on this object. And I'll say yes, and I like to leave the warning intact. I mean, I pretty much most of the time realize that, but you never know, you might forget, and it's nice. It's just nice when Active Directory reminds you of things. It can be so polite sometimes, and forgiving of our human inconsistencies. Now let's create some groups, and we'll assign some permissions. We want to follow Microsoft's AGUDLP strategy. So first of all, there are some resources that we want to either allow or deny access to, depending on, what a user's group membership is and what their security credentials are. And that is the folder Secret Plans, has a Doomsday device and a teleporter. And there's the top secret folder, Biowarfare Death Race, MK Ultra, Mind Control, Monarch Mind Control, Nuclear Weapons, and World Domination. If you're ever bored one night, type in Monarch Mind Control in Google and stay up all night cowering with paranoia and wondering if it could be true. I don't think they actually produced a successful Manchurian candidate, but if they did, then how would we know? Because if they were successful, then no one would know they were a Manchurian candidate, and who knows, maybe they have. But it is kind of an interesting bit of history. They did really mess some people up back then. They were experimenting with LSD and just different psychological and brainwashing techniques. And they messed up one lady so bad she forgot how to talk and couldn't feed herself, had to learn how to basically, feed herself, talk, go to the bathroom all over again. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty amazing what what the human mind can withstand. In this case, we want to assign permissions to these objects. So let's go into Active Directory users and computers. And what we want to do is we've added the users. That's the A part, and we'll just work in the Northern Hemisphere for now. Now we want to do the G part, which is adding the global groups. And I'm going to go New and Group and Enemy Agents. And I want to add all my enemy agents to that group. So for members, we had Barney Rubble, we had Dr. Evil. Who else was our enemy agent? Paris Hilton. Alright, so we had those three. And I want to go to research, and I'm going to create a new global group, and make it consistent. I'll just make it the same name as the organizational unit that it's in, and I want to add Carl Sagan, Einstein, and we'll add Tesla. A lot of people think Tesla was a crackpot, but actually he was a genius. Another good time, if you're ever bored one night, type Nicholas Tesla into Google, see what you come up with. PBS has a really good website on him, but he's basically the father of the modern power grid and the inventor of radio, although people argue until they're blue in the face that it was Marconi. Remember that Marconi used 17 of Tesla's patents. And posthumously, we actually, in order to save having to pay Italy some money, we did award him the patent for the radio. Let's go to top agents, and we'll go ahead and add a group, and we need to add Austin Powers to our top agents global group, and Austin Powers, and let's go to trainees and add a group. And this is our last group, so I just wanted to show you something. Notice the different types of groups. Distribution groups are for mailing lists, like Exchange. Security groups are for the purpose of assigning permissions. Here are your three types: domain, local, global, and universal. Notice that if let me modify a group here. We'll go ahead and create a global security group, and let's go ahead and call this trainees. Let me open this, and notice domain local is grayed out. So why can't I change to domain local? Well, I can, but I have to do this first, universal, and then apply. And then it's no longer grayed out. And then I can go domain local, but then when I do that, global is grayed out. So just remember, to switch back and forth, you have to go to universal first, and then you can go to global. And there's security and distribution right there. And for members, I want to add Scooby. He's my trainee. And notice on the user tab too, the user also has a member of tab, and the user is a member of trainees. There's his global group. Now he's also a member of domain users. By default, all of our agents are members of domain users. Everyone's added to that group by default when they're created. So user can be a member of multiple groups, many groups, and each of those groups may have different sets of permissions, but that user gets the cumulative set of permissions. And it's the most permissive accumulation of those permissions. In other words, if the user is a member of domain users and they can't access a folder, but the user is also a member of research and they can, then the user will be able to access that folder. The only exception to that rule is when you explicitly deny a group or user permission on something. Explicitly doesn't work within the inheritance hierarchy, and so it will override any other multiple group membership that user may have. In other words, if our user is a member of research and he's also a member of domain users, and research has been allowed full permission on the top secret folder, but domain users has been explicitly denied. In other words, we checked the deny box. We'll look at this in a moment, and ACE is on the DACL. Then even though he's a member of research and has full permission on top secret, he's not going to be allowed in to see that folder because he's also a member of domain users and they were explicitly denied permission to see that folder. So we'll take a look at that and how permissions work. Anyway, we're following AGUDLP. We've done the A part, added the user. We've done the G part, creating our global security groups and adding our users to that. If it applied, if we had multiple domains, we could add universal groups. But we're in one domain now, just pirates.org, so we won't, we're bypassing the U, so we've done just AGU. Now we get to the domain local part. In this case, in the domain local part, we'll create a domain local security group, and this is for the purpose of assigning permissions. That's about it. So I'm going to go with the group here. I'm going to go with domain local, and I'm going to go with top secret access, and let's do, what was the other folder called? Secret plans. Secret plans access. And I'm going to go with, let's do one more, and top secret deny. And those will be our groups there. Now kind of just group them together or display them together. These are all domain local groups. Oops. Should have been domain local groups. Hang on. What? You didn't say anything? Domain local groups. Okay, so we all got domain local groups. Now what we want to do is add our global security groups to our domain local groups. So in this case, let's grant membership. Let's go hunting for our groups here. And the groups that we trust would be the top agents, global group. And we would also trust research. Trust them. Research and top agents. At this point, not really trainees. Here, let's say that we just trust research. We'll add the research global group. And top secret deny, we want to, in case any of our enemy agents, accidentally steal credentials or get onto the network, we want to make sure that they get denied access. So for members here, we are just wanting to add enemy agents. Okay. So now I've got the A down, the G down, the U down, and the DL down. Now all we have to do is the P part of our AGUDLP, and that's assign permissions to the domain local groups. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here and let's go to my computer and let's go here to top secret first, and we're going to pull up properties. We want to edit the DACL. Now if you don't see a security tab, what's going on is you didn't enable that option. You have to go down here and uncheck use sharing wizard, and then that will enable you to see the security tab to edit ACEs on the DACL. Another thing I also like to do is I like to check this, show hidden files, and uncheck. I like to see my file extensions and system files. So 2008 and Vista will try to hide that from you. You may want to choose to uncheck that and modify that just so you can see everything that you're looking at. Notice all my hidden files are displayed and the file extensions. That helps me. It might be confusing to some, but that helps me as a system administrator diagnose problems or kind of understand what's going on in a system at a glance. So we want to do that. We want to go to properties and security tab, and let's modify some entries on the DACL. So I'm going to edit, and I want to add my domain local group, top secret access. And I'm going to give top secret access full control here. Okay. And I'm going to go over to, let's go over to secret plans. And in secret plans, I'm going to go over and I'm going to add was it secret plans access? Yes, it was. And I'm going to give modify. Let's give modify privileges. Well, I'll go ahead and give full control. Why not? Secret plans access. Another thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to go back to top secret now, and here's where I'm going to use another group. I'm going to use another domain local group, and it's going to be, what did I call it? What did I call this? Top secret deny. I'm going to add top secret deny. Now implicit is when I simply don't allow. So if I implicitly denied, members of top secret deny, but they were also a member of, say, secret plans access, in this case, they would still be able to access secret plans because their permissions would be cumulative in the most permissive set. But if I clicked on deny, now that's different. That's an explicit denial. And even though they were a member of multiple groups and one or more of those groups had permission on the folder, the explicit denial in this group, if they were a member of it, would override any other permission that would allow them to see that folder, so they would actually be denied access. So the difference between implicit versus explicit: implicit is simply not allowing somebody to do something, and that works in the inheritance hierarchy and it's cumulative, whereas explicit overrides everything, and that's where I explicitly check deny. Usually I didn't want to do something. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to deny everything here on top secret deny. And then notice, 2008 Wormy there. I'm setting permissions in that entry. I want to add that group here as well. So again, I'm going to edit and deny, and I'm just, I'm configuring permissions on my domain local groups. And top secret deny. Again, Windows is warning me, hey, that's really strong. You're doing something that overrides the inheritance hierarchy. Not a good idea. Microsoft says try to avoid using deny as much as possible. I mean, occasionally you have to. But just for the purpose of illustrating this, and also, we just want to make darn sure that if enemy agents somehow secure top secret credentials, maybe they steal Austin Powers' password, that they will not get access to our top secret death ray, and let's not forget the MK Ultra Mind Control project. Ooh. So let's take a look at how these permissions work now with different group memberships. Let's go back to Active Directory users and computers, and we'll log out and log in as different users and test these permissions. So before we log in and log out and test it, let's just go back here one more time. I want to verify our group membership. So in Northern Hemisphere, I want to look at my domain local groups, and top secret deny, in this case, enemy agents is a member of that. And here in enemy agents, all of our enemy agents are a member of this global security group. So that way we can control permission just by this one group here, this domain local group, because added to it is this global group, and all the users are added in turn to that global group. So it simplifies permissions, and it also makes your environment run smoother, Active Directory runs smoother, because there are less ACEs to process on DCLs for items when you combine things into groups instead of adding, it's much better than trying to add 100 different individual users and set ACEs on the DCL for each one of those. Same thing for research. So if we were to go here and secret plans access, notice that research is there. And if we go to research, all of our scientists are a member of the research global security group. So that, again, this is how we control permissions using AGUDLP. Sorry, I meant top secret access. If we go to top secret access, research and top agents. Now, cumulatively, top agents, will have permission on this folder. They will not have permission on the secret plans folder because they weren't added. Just our research scientists do. Enemy agents, on the other hand, they're going to be explicitly denied. Not just if we implicitly denied that they would not have access to the folder, because we're not going to make them a member of secret plans or top secret. But let's just say that we'll pretend by accident that somehow one of our enemy agents comes in and impersonates Dr. Evil, because he's really good at this. So Dr. Evil comes in, and he's going to impersonate somebody, and he's going to seek to gain access to research. And we'll go down and add him to the research group. Okay, so now he's a member of 3 groups. This group would give him permission to access his folders. That would make him a dangerous mole within our organization. But we've thought of that. We've made him a member of enemy agents. Enemy agents will override his cumulative permissions because he's explicitly denied permission to see those folders in this group. And we'll just take a look at, we'll log out, log in as different users. We'll take a look at that and see how that works. Okay, we're going to log off. And let's log in as, let's see. We'll log in as Austin Powers first. And he's got permission on the top secret folder. Cumulative permission. Let's see what permission he has. So he'll log on locally. Now he's got log on locally privilege. And let's go ahead and launch Explorer real quick. We'll go over here. And let's go to our C drive. And let's go on top secret. And we have permission. Yuck, yuck, sick. And we can see our germ warfare documents and super secret death rays. There's Gort's death ray. Gort, the indestructible robot from The Day the Earth Stood Still. The Manchurian Candidate, Oswald kills Kennedy. I think he was a Manchurian candidate. We'd never know. There's Paris Hilton. She's programmed probably to assassinate the next, who knows, maybe like the next, some member of Congress or something. Do you think Paris Hilton's evil? I don't think she's evil. I just think she's a programmed, mind-controlled Manchurian candidate for taking care of somebody famous. Maybe not. Okay, so we can tell that Austin Powers has full access on Top Secret. Now, Secret Plans, again, he's got access through that domain user's account. So let's log out, and let's do Dr. Evil now. Remember, Dr. Evil should have cumulative permission. He's a member of domain users, and he stole Top Secret, so he should have full permission on that folder, but he was also added to the group, the Top Secret Deny group, and that group has been explicitly denied permission for that resource or for that folder. So Dr. Evil's logging in, he's trying to break into our network and do some horrible things, and unfortunately Austin Powers is unaware. Now notice you don't currently have permission to access this folder. And same thing. Now if we had different credentials, okay, but he's been explicitly denied permission on Top Secret. Now let's see if it works on Secret Plans. And again, it also works on Secret Plans. So Dr. Evil's denied permission, Austin Powers gains permission. Okay, so we've contrasted permissions between Dr. Evil and Austin Powers. Austin Powers and Dr. Evil both had membership in the Top Secret domain local group. Their global groups were a part of that. However, we had placed Dr. Evil in another group called Top Secret Deny. And that effectively, with an explicit denial of permission, prevented him from being able to go into that folder and see its contents or view its contents or modify them in any way. And again, let's take a look at that. Let's go to Top Secret, and we'll look at the DACL. So here we have Top Secret Access and Top Secret Deny. Now Austin Powers is a member of Top Secret Access. He's not a member of Top Secret Deny. Austin Powers is a member of domain users, and if you look, domain users has read but not write privileges. Remember that Austin Powers had full privileges. That's because as long as it's not explicit, in other words, as long as I'm simply not checking allow but I am not checking anything in the deny column, then he gets the combination of all the groups he's a member of, and it's going to be the most permissive combination of those permissions. Now, Dr. Evil, on the other hand, sure, he's a member of multiple groups. He's a member of users, the users group, so he should have had read permission, and he's a member of Top Secret Access, so he should have had full permission here, because he stole that, secretly, covertly. But he was also a member of Top Secret Deny, and we had explicitly denied permission to all of our enemy agents, and to Dr. Evil in this case. So even though he did have cumulative permissions to go into that folder and even modify and change and delete things, because he was a member of this group that had explicit denial on the DACL, he could not read that folder or go into it in any way or fashion. Let's take one more look at that. We'll create a read-only domain local group for our research group, our research global group, so our scientists. So open up Active Directory users and computers, and we're going to go into Northern Hemisphere, and I'm going to say a new, and I want to make a domain local group. It'll be a security group, and we'll call this Top Secret Read Only. And the purpose of this will be, if we add anybody to this, we want to use explicit denial, and we're just going to make sure that they only have read-only privileges. So let's go ahead and we're going to add another member here. Now again, Microsoft cautions against using explicit denial too much because it will interfere with the flow of your inheritance hierarchy. Only use it when you have to or need to. But let's say that we're just, darn sure we only want our scientists to have read-only access and no ability to modify these documents. What I would do is I'd add the global security group research and make that a member of my domain local group. So remember we're following AGUDLP. We add the users to the global group, which is research. And if I go down here in my research OU, here's my research global group, and my members are Carl Sagan, Einstein, Tesla. Ooh, what's he doing there? He does not belong there. Yeah, let's get rid of Dr. Evil. Boy, Dr. Evil is just wreaking havoc. He's all over the place. He should only be a member of enemy agents. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we've got to be really careful. Got to be really, really careful with all these evil agents running around, how we assign our permissions. They're just sneaking around. They're crafty and sneaky. Anyway, back to our domain local group. So all of our research scientists are added to the research group, and then that's the A and the G. We're bypassing the universal group because we don't have a multiple domain structure yet. And now we're going to domain local group. Our domain local group is top secret read only. And we've added the global security group research to that. So this is what we'll actually add to the DACL of top secret to control it, or to modify the effective permissions. And so I'm going to go to top secret, I'm going to go to properties, I'm going to go to the security tab, and I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to add my new group, and top secret read only. And in this case, let's look at the difference between implicit versus explicit denial. So we will simply implicitly deny. In other words, we'll just uncheck allow, but we're not going to explicitly deny. We're not going to check any of these deny boxes here. And what will happen is, look, we'll use Tesla. He's one of our research scientists. He's a member of multiple groups. Domain users is allowed read access. So even if he were a member of only these two groups, he would be allowed read access if he logged out and logged in, just because he has cumulative permission of both those groups. Not read only, I'm sorry, but I meant top secret access. So domain users, but he's also a member of top secret access, and top secret access has full control, modify all the permission. So he's going to get the most permissive set that accumulates from his multiple group membership. So in this case, even though I'm implicitly denying it here, and he's a member of this group, because he's a member of this group, he's going to have full permission. Only if we went in and explicitly denied top secret read only, write and modify privileges, would he be restricted to write. So let's test that out real quick. We'll just implicitly deny him. We've added it to the DACL, and we're going to log out.
Let's log back in and edit the DACL.
Okay, now we're going to look at top secret. We want to edit the access control entry on the DACL for this object. So let's go to edit. And where we were only implicitly denied, here we want to explicitly deny the write privilege. And we'll allow read and execute listing folder contents, but this will prevent us from actually being able to save any information in the file. So even though research is a member of top secret access, which has full permission, and they're a member of domain users, which has only implicitly denied but not explicitly denied permission, they're also a member of top secret read only. And in this case, they have been explicitly denied write permission. So let's log out and we'll see how this works. And now let's log out. We'll log back in as Tesla and see if indeed we are prevented from saving information to the file, so that we're denied write permission. Switch users. I want to go pirates. ARG. Tesla. Simple password. Okay, now that we're logged in, I'm going to go Windows Explorer and see, and let's go to top secret. Now notice I do have read permission, but now that I've traversed the folders, let's try to make some changes. Okay, and file and save. All of a sudden it cannot create the file. So here I'm prevented from changing the information. Now I could save it as a different document, but I'm not allowed to modify this document. And let's try that on some of the other objects here. So we'll go to death rays. Gort's death ray. We'll say Gort versus Terminator. And again, I should not be allowed permission. See? In this case, I'm denied permission. Because even though my permission is cumulative, I have an explicit denial. And Tesla is a member of the Global Security Group Research, which is a member of the Domain Local Group, Top Secret Read Only. Now that we've taken the long way home, so to speak, let's look at a tool that is very helpful in determining a user's effective permissions. And I want to go to C, and I'm going to go to Top Secret. And permissions can be implicit or explicit. You have multiple group membership. They can, permissions can be denied or allowed implicitly or explicitly. But a very useful tool. If you click on Advanced and go to the Effective Permissions tool, it's very nice. If when in doubt, check it out. And let's say I wanted to look at the permissions for an individual member. So I can see now the accumulation of all Tesla's permissions of his multiple group membership, including his group membership with the group that has been explicitly denied write permission, is seen here. So the check permissions are what he has permissions for. In this case, what's in gray is what he has been denied. Let's look at Austin Powers. Again, we can see Austin Powers has all permission. Let's look at Dr. Evil. We can see that Dr. Evil has no permission because he does have multiple group membership, and one of his groups even has full permission, but he's a member of the Top Secret Deny Access group, which denies permission. So it's kind of a nice, useful tool. And again, we talked about change ownership. We could modify ownership here if we wanted to add another user, and then we could replace ownership on objects or grant other users the ability to take ownership of our objects. We'll talk about auditing when we get into group policy, and then these are your special permissions.